Iron Man. Iron Man follows weapon developer Tony Stark, who discovers that his weapons are being sold to terrorists. Using a suit of armour, he sets out to make up for his past, becoming the superhero Iron Man. This film was the start of the MCU, or Marvel Cinematic Universe, wherein a whole bunch of films based on Marvel properties shared the same continuity. It also helped cement what the direction of these films was going to be, with a focus on being faithful to the character, a strong focus on the hero, and kind of a mixture of action and humour. Stark is portrayed by Robert Downey Jr., playing him as an egotistical playboy with a strong focus on his wit as a form of humour. As such, he's a lot of fun to watch, and it's easy to see why he became the de facto face of the MCU, for better or worse. I mean, at least it wasn't as bad as Wolverine and the X-Men films, which became about him. Though apparently that's what Avengers was originally going to be. Thank God they fixed that. But the drama of the character forms the basis of the film, his guilt over his lack of accountability, and the lengths that he goes in order to right the wrongs of his past, really setting up his arc that will be carried over 3 films, and even the spin-offs. The film feels like it wanted to focus a lot more on comedy than action, and as a result, go with the guy who made Elf was a good call. Jon Favreau gives it a very different vibe from past comic book films, which typically had the humour as a side thing, while it felt like the humour here is the focus of the entertainment. Stark's cocky delivery and his conversations with the supporting cast take up the majority of screen time, and they all play off him in different ways, so it doesn't feel repetitive. Like how Pepper Potts, played by Gwyneth Paltrow, is more likely to talk back to him, or how Rhodey, played by Terrence Howard, felt like he was being made fun of a bit more by Tony. That's a good thing you got out of this franchise when you did, Terrence. I see no future for this film. The action is okay. The suit's cool and it flies around and it's got all these cool weapons. The final battle's pretty fun too, with robot suits hitting each other, lots of explosions, but sadly nothing really stands out. CG can be an awesome tool to bring the ideas to life that could have been done with practical effects, but when you lean too much on it, you can feel desensitized. If you're going to go down this route of being CG, you have to deliver something visually impressive. You can't go small. You have to go bigger and grander. You're basically switching from filming with live action actors to shooting a cartoon. And when you're shooting a cartoon, you can afford to go massive. But they didn't, and as a result, it kind of feels like an afterthought. The villain, Obadiah Stane, played by Jeff Bridges, is okay. He's a functional villain who poses a threat to overcome, but little else. Bridges does play with a certain amount of charm, and you can see why Tony trusted him. On top of that, he can be really threatening when he needs to, but it's not really pushed far enough to call him a great villain. The one thing I have noticed about the Iron Man films is that the villains serve better as foils to the character more than their own villains. For example, Stane is very much a representation of everything Tony fears, his weapons being in the hands of people who will abuse them. The Ironmonger suit itself is a twisted version of the Iron Man suit, serving as a metaphor for his ignorance in the past and what his ignorance in the future could lead to if he doesn't keep the Iron Man suit under wraps. It's something that the sequel handled too, but we'll cover that when we get to it. Iron Man is a pretty good film, though the bar was pretty low when it first came out. I mean, even the franchises we liked have been putting out crap. And we were starting to expect comic book movies to fail. The standard wasn't X-Men and Spider-Man anymore. It was Fantastic Four and Daredevil. But with a great hero and strong comedy, it was enough to prop it up, and it's still worth watching today, so it's a 7 out of 10. It honestly doesn't have much looking back into it, but the lead is so good that it honestly makes up for a lot of the shortcomings. But this was just the start of not only the Iron Man franchise, but something much greater. After the credits, we get to see something a little bit special.
Jarvis.
Welcome home, son.
You think you're the only superhero in the world? Who the hell are you? Nick Fury, director of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm here to talk to you about the Avenger Initiative.
Do you have any idea how big that was at the time? Not only did we see Nick Fury looking exactly like he did in the Marvel Ultimate Universe, but we also have the first words of the Avengers. That was something to be excited about. Not only were we going to get to see Marvel's premier superhero team, but was it going to include Iron Man? This version of Iron Man? The one that we saw and that we liked? That was something to look forward to. But you'll have to wait a little bit longer, as I try to cover every film in the MCU library. I guess when I come back from hiatus, I don't do anything small, do I? Take care now. Bye-bye then.
Hey, Tony. Remember me?
Sure don't. Look great, Hef.